Now we're going to look at a very cool new feature in Flash 8. It's called 9-slice scaling. You may see it referred to as Scale 9. To demonstrate how this works, I'm first going to attempt an operation that in the past has caused myself and a lot of other people a lot of hassle. Then I'm going to go back and show you how 9-slice scaling can make it all incredibly easy. So I'm going to draw a rectangle. It's going to be black, and it will have a fairly thick white stroke on it. It's also going to have rounded corners. I'll drop in 10 for the rectangle settings. Click and drag, there's my rectangle. Now I'm going to turn this into a movie clip. Hit the F8 key. That brings up the Convert to Symbol dialog box, and I'm going to call this My Rectangle _MC. It's a movie clip and the registration is in the center. Hit OK, and there it is. Now, say for example I want to change the scaling of this. Say I want to make it wider. I might use the transform panel and change a value here, and we'll change this to 300%. Okay, have a look at the corners now. They don't really look very natural. The entire thing has been stretched. And the same thing happens if we make this taller as well. The corners are distorted. So, in Flash 8, Macromedia has added the cool feature, 9-slice scaling. Let's have a look at how that works. This symbol I just created is in the library. Let's have a look at the properties for that symbol. On a PC, right-click, on a Mac, Control-click, and you'll find Properties. You can also find that by clicking the panel options here. Open Properties, and right down here at the bottom, there's a checkbox, Enable Guides for 9-slice scaling. Turn this on. And incidentally, we could have done this when we first created this symbol. But for purposes of illustration, we didn't. So turn this on now, hit OK, and you'll see that the preview in the library has changed. Now, remember that there's two methods of editing a symbol. You can either double-click on the instance on the stage. If we do this, it looks the same. Or we can double-click on the symbol in the library. And for editing objects with 9-slice scaling enabled, you have to double-click on the object in the library. Now you see some dotted lines. What do these mean? Well, the object is being divided up into 9 sections. Upper left, upper middle, upper right, center left, center middle, and so on. Now, what's going to happen if we scale this object on the main stage? Say, for example, we scale it horizontally. Well, the upper middle, the center middle, and the bottom middle will stretch. But the whole left side and the whole right side will stay exactly the same. And as a result of this, the corners will be intact. Now, if we scale it vertically, the opposite thing happens. The left middle, middle center, and right middle portions of this will stretch in the vertical direction. But, again, the corners will stay the same. And these dotted lines allow us to specify which part of this object stretches and which doesn't. Now I'm sure you're starting to see how cool this can be. Saves us a lot of heartache. Let's go back to the main scene and transform this again. We'll make it wider again, back up to 300. Now, just before we hit enter, when I do, you may not see the expected result. In the Flash authoring tool, it'll look exactly as it did last time. Hit OK, and the corners are stretched. However, let's export this. In the Flash player, the corners look fine. Let's go back and we'll drop this right back to say 35% by 200. Again, the corners look wrong here, but if we export it, excellent corners. By the way, as I'm exporting this, I'm hitting Control and Enter on the keyboard, which is the keyboard shortcut for Control and Test Movie. So to wrap up the lesson, we can now resize instances of graphic symbols quickly and easily without having to worry about them becoming distorted.